Our next 3 Amber Island monsters arrive tomorrow. However, this wave is going to be a little different, so let's go and take a snippet into what we can expect tomorrow. First of all, before we do anything, we need to head on over to Monster Handler Matt to get the deets on what's going to be coming inside of this wave.
For this next wave, it will not feature any new Dawn of Fire crossover monsters. It will instead feature monsters that are already present in My Singing Monsters. But all 3 of the monsters have been some highly requested monsters. We wanted to shift things around because we heard people saying that Pong Ping sounded a little lonely in that one section on Amber Island.
So as you guys heard, inside of this wave, we're going to have returning monsters to the game that have been inside of the game before, and not any new ones coming from Dawn of Fire. Therefore, that means the 3 monsters that we can have inside of this are either Wallaby, Wink, Root-Toot, Tring, or Snizer. All 3 of the monsters will be one of those, but who exactly will it be? Well, seeing as though Monster Handler Map said that it's going to be highly requested monsters, I do think it's most likely going to be Wallaby and Snizer. The third and final one, though, is the one that I do get a little confused on. We know that Wallaby and Snizer have been highly requested since the island began. Wallaby, because it's Wallaby. Wallaby brings a load to every single song it's on. Snizer, because we're missing the castle bass at the moment, with the castle literally making no sound whatsoever. So fans are really excited for that, as the castle always adds a bunch. The rest of them haven't really been that requested. They're kind of on an equal level. Therefore, I think it's quite hard. But with each wave so far recently having a theme, I think it might be possible to guess what monster it might be. For wave 5, we had Reptillo, Waddle, and Pong Ping, for example, which all had the theme of being purple. And then with wave 4, we had Flower, Bob, and Edamame, each one of those having a plant theme. So this time, I do think it's going to be most likely Wink. If we take a look at the monsters that we've got so far, we've got Wallaby and Snizer, which don't really have a theme behind them. And then we also could have Wink. If they include Wink, that means that we could therefore have the theme of it being all Fire Oasis monsters. And I think, seeing as though each wave so far as well has had at least one vocalist, I don't think they're going to go ahead and differentiate from that trend that they've established. They could easily sway away from it and choose an instrumentalist once more, but I don't think that is the correct move for this wave, considering that we're already going to be having these grand debuting instrumentalists. It feels like almost if they introduce another one, it could be a little outshadowed by the other monsters potentially, and I do think we're going to see another vocalist come along. With those 3 monsters in mind though now, I think it's time to delve into what we expect out of these monsters. Now, Wallaby, first of all, we've got to start off with Wallaby. I am so excited for Wallaby. Wallaby is one of my favourite monsters, as probably all of you guys do know, so I'm especially excited for Wallaby. As soon as Wallaby comes out, that's literally the first one that we're doing. I don't care about anything. I'm probably going to just go crazy with Wallaby tomorrow. If Wallaby does come, oh my goodness. Anyway, Wallaby could play absolutely anywhere. I think Wallaby, considering everything that they've added to other songs, has a huge potential inside of the song to add a bunch of tracks, potentially just everywhere inside of the song. I see it potentially playing at the start, inside of the beat pop, and even in the God's verse at the very end of the song. Oh, Wallaby, oh, Wallaby. I've got to pull it together though, because otherwise we're not going to get through this, because I'll just talk about Wallaby the entire time. I know what happened inside of my Bone Island Discovery video and stuff, so I'm going to try and move on. So I think it will add the most Wallaby inside of this wave, and I do expect it 100% to add to the beat pop. Out of anything, I see Wallaby adding to that section. I can see Wallaby getting really jazzy inside of that bit and adding a bunch, so I'm using the word jazzy. You can tell I'm excited, guys. We must move on though onto Wink before I get too carried away. For Wink, I'm expecting them to contribute to the build up towards the beat pop, not necessarily the beat pop itself. I do expect Wallaby to also contribute to that build up as well, but for Wink, I feel like this is especially important this time. Seeing as though we have no vocalists inside of that right now, I can see Wink adding to that, or potentially I could see Wink coinciding with Waddle in a way and potentially adding to that section straight after the beat pop. Because of Waddle playing in that front section, I just see Wink being a really good conflict to that and adding to that verse after the beat pop in a way that Waddle did also, to kind of balance the 2 verses out right now, as Waddle does contribute a bunch to that, and I feel like we need something like that in that section, so I feel like Wink might be the one to do just that. I see Wink being much more akin to their Constant and Fire Oasis sounds as well, not Cave Island. Cave Island is not where the beat sat on Amber Island. I definitely see it being more akin to those islands as well. Now for Snizer, we're going to Snizer now. Let me just say, the castle bass always plays throughout most of the song, so it's most likely that Snizer will. I especially expect out of Snizer to get some distinguishing qualities between all of the verses. I see Snizer coming along and adding that background bass, what you just love inside of the songs, that really shows off which verses are which inside of them. Well, at least to me anyway. So I think that this will really help us distinguish out the verses and potentially make them sound more unique, especially inside of the build-up, for example, to the beat pop. I can see Snizer adding to that quite a bit. And honestly, I think Snizer is going to be a really big one too. Like Monster Handler Matt said, these monsters are adding a lot this time. So honestly, I don't think we can keep his expectations down. I feel like the roof has been raised and I'm terribly excited for these monsters. I see Snizer having the most sounds out of any Amber Island monster as well. Snizer has to really distinguish out them verses, I think, and just like Seasonal Shanty's castle, for example, has a ton of sounds, I feel like that is going to be the same for Amber Island with Snizer. The only verse where I really see Snizer being a 50-50 if it'll play or not is right at the end, inside of the ending verse. The Gods verses were dubbing it. I think Snizer might not play inside of that. It doesn't really feel that necessary, the bass inside of that bit, so that's the bit where I'm kind of iffy on whether Snizer will play or not inside of that bit. For the rest of the verses though, I can see Snizer playing 100% inside of those. Regardless of what the monsters sound like and whoever is coming tomorrow though, we have at least 1 or 2 additions to Pongping's verse confirmed for tomorrow, and Pongping's verse is not a glitch, it's been confirmed as well. Everyone was saying it was a glitch inside of the comments, to the point where I was like, this is probably a glitch. And it's not a glitch, it's a false comment, so it's a false alarm, guys. The Pongping build-up is indeed supposed to be a build-up into the beat pop. So inside of this wave, I think it's going to be especially interesting to see how that build-up is encapsulated even more so, and how it exactly coincides with the rest of the verses, and how they manage to integrate it together with these monsters, as I feel like we're going to get a really good taste now of what that verse is supposed to be like, with all of these monsters that are going to be contributing to it, and especially with these monsters as well being really big monsters. We are definitely going to be seeing what the beat pop is about, I do think, inside of this, and I think it's going to mostly centralize itself, this wave, over the beat pop, which is very exciting because, oh my goodness, the beat pop and Wallaby, oh my goodness. Final prediction, there will be no glitches. I'm putting it out there, I don't care anymore. I just feel like there's been so many glitches at this point. I am literally predicting there will be no glitches. We've brought up the glitches now, so they're gone. They're gone. We've said goodbye to them. I waved goodbye to them from the window. They left when the Magical Island castles came out. We just knew that there'd be no more, didn't we, guys? Let's cross his fingers anyway that no glitches come along, because these 3 monsters are going to be so cool and they just deserve all of the spotlight in the world, especially Wallaby. So we need to give the praise to Wallaby right now. But other than that, guys, please do make sure to let me know what you think about what's going to be coming tomorrow down below, and make sure to leave a like down below too, and to subscribe as well, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Wallaby. Wallaby. I'm going crazy over Wallaby. I'm not going to stop either. You've got to be prepared for tomorrow, because I'm going to be crazy about them. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later for now. Bye.